Hello again. As you probably know, my name is Dr. Ashivi Jacob Ineji, your course facilitator for CSS244. I will be taking you on a very brief analysis of the geologic security threat as a type of non-human security threat. Please pay attention as I conduct this presentation. Cheers. Alright, the course again, the course code is CSS244. The course title is Types and Analysis of Security Threat. Once again, I am Dr. Ashim Jacob Ineji, and so very quickly I'm going to take you straight on to the topic for this lesson. Again, geologic security threat as a type of non-human security threat. Again, non-human security threats are called, are in other words referred to as natural security threat. Okay, so we are only looking into the geologic security threat for this lesson. All right, that's how it has been structured, and so let's quickly again move on to the learning outcomes. What will you learn by the end of this lesson? So let's just quickly look at that. Just a minute. Alright, so the intended learning outcomes for this lesson are that at the end of this lesson, you should or you are expected to define the term geologic security threat. Alright, so by the end of this lesson, you should be able to define the term geologic security threat. Again, you should also be able to outline the types of geologic security threats. And finally, at the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain how the locations of geologic security threats can be determined. That is, how they can be predicted, how the future of the occurrence of these geologic threats can be predicted. Okay, right, so learning outcomes, this is we are trying to do the input process right now, and so learning outcomes is synonymous to the output process, what you as a student should be giving out at the end of this lesson. Alright, let's now move on quickly to the conceptual clarification, just to be sure that we all understand the basic term here, which is geology. Alright, remember we're talking about the geologic security threat, and so let's explain what this term means. Actually, you should know that geologic is drawn from the word geology, from the word geology. Alright, it is drawn from this word geology, and geology is an area of discipline classified under earth sciences, right? Under the earth sciences. So it deals with the earth. Geologic here refers to, or it relates to the earth. Okay, relates to the earth, and as you know, the earth is a natural formation. Okay, it's a natural formation. So the type of threat we are going to be studying here has to do with all of those that emanates or that relates to the earth. Okay, all right, having said that, let's now look into the actual definition of what geologic security threats. Now, what are geologic security threats? What do we mean by geologic security threats? Well, we are going to adopt the definition that is crafted from the Glossary of Environment Statistics in 1997. The definition is quite simple, and it captures the fact of the definition of the term geologic security threats. The definition is that geologic security threats are natural events. Okay, remember we talked about natural threats. They are natural events in the crust of the earth. These are key terms: in the crust of the earth, that pose a threat to life and property. Okay, so that's the simple definition there. You need to understand that this definition, that geologic threats are natural events in the crust of the earth that pose a threat to life and property. That means they are those threats that are emanating from the earth that begin to put man in an uncomfortable situation, and of course his life is being threatened, and of course most times property destroyed. Okay, all right, so any threat that doesn't relate with that doesn't emanate from the earth, has no business with the earth, it is not a geologic threat. Okay, so we are only looking at threat that has to do with the earth. Only those threats are categorized as geologic security threats. Okay, I will give you a simple class activity right now. We have defined this term, key term here, geologic security threat. So I'll just give you a simple class activity to conduct within yourself. Just assess yourself in 5 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds. Give me a minute. Just a minute. Alright, so in 5 seconds, please assess yourself, define the term geologic security threat. Just think about that. Right, I am confident you were able to define the term geologic threat by yourself. So let's now move into the types of geologic threats. Let's see the different types of geologic threats, types of geologic security threats. We have quite a number of them here, ranging from earthquakes, mudflows, tsunami, volcanic eruptions, flooding or flood, subsidence, and drought. All right, a few not mentioned. These are essentially the major types of geologic security threats. So we are just going to be looking into a few. I have only analyzed these ones. I am leaving these two for you to conduct your own exercise. Of course, you should know it's a simple thing. The subsidence here has to do with the sinking of soil around a structure or a foundation. For instance, a building, a well-erected building where the soil around the foundation sinks and damages the foundation of that building. Drought here has to do with the lack of moisture, the lack of water. Okay, so I'll just leave these two for you to do more findings. So let's take on these other types of geologic security threats. The first one, earthquake. Let's see what that is. Earthquake here, in other words, is referred to as quake, tremor, or trembler. All right, any of these terms can be used alternatively for the term earthquake. All right, as you can see on the picture here, this is an instance of a disaster caused by an earthquake. Earthquakes are quite disastrous because they shake the surface of the earth and also damages property. As that shake or the shaking continues, buildings are demolished, buildings are taken down, people trapped in a lot of disaster with earthquake. So actually, what is an earthquake? An earthquake is the shaking of the earth's surface as a result of energy released in the earth's lithosphere. And as you know, the lithosphere is a layer of the earth, all right, close to the surface of the earth, which is recognized as the coolest, as the coolest layer of the Earth. So once that shaking begins, we usually get that natural hazard, all right, that geologic hazard. It is usually very disastrous and very catastrophic when it happens. Right, let's move on to the next one, which is of course mud flow. Mud flow. Mud flows, as the name implies. Of course, you should know we are looking at mud flowing. All right. So mud flows. Let's just quickly look at the picture here. You can see this is quite muddy. You can see some debris, some waste around. You can see it flowing down, right? Flowing down. Look at some vehicles trapped within the mud. This picture is a typical example of mud flow. Another name for mud flow is mudslide. All right, it's mudslide. So what is the definition of mud flow? Here, a very quick definition is that it's a quick flow of partially or fully liquefied waste or debris. All right, this liquefied waste or debris makes it thick. All right, it becomes thick, and of course you have more of mud flowing down the lane. It happens when the soil and rocks are saturated with water to make a slippery mass flow of mud. These are the key terms. So a mud flow actually has soil, rocks, and water. All right, those are the components of a mud flow. And of course, you will find it a mud flows or a mudslide. Of course, you find a mass flow of it, just like you have in this image. All right, so this is a mud flow or a mudslide. It is a type of geologic hazard, and as you can see here, any individual that gets in here is likely going to be trapped because you may not be able to move freely in that mud. All right, let's take on the next one. Tsunami. Tsunami, which is a common one that everybody knows about. Tsunami, of course, is a series of waves. Okay, series of waves in a water body caused by the displacement of a large volume of water. As you can see in this image, you can see that large volume of water there displaced from the main body of the water itself, now pushing towards the shore. All right, and of course you can see these are human beings surrounding here. There are buildings there are cars, and so that body, that mass flow of water is pushing in that direction to cause some hazard. All right, usually the volume of water, usually by this mass flow of water is caused by underwater explosions caused by a quake, which is of course an earthquake, a volcanic eruption, etc. So in the main body of this water, if we get an earthquake inside this water, it is going to cause that water to move in heavy volume out of its main body to the shore. That movement of water, that displacement of water from its main body to the shore, it's what is called tsunamis. All right, so tsunamis are geologic security threat as they move out of the main body into dry land. They cause a lot of havoc on man. Okay. All right, so let's look into the next one, volcanic eruption. Let's not waste much time. Volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption is the discharge of lava and gas from a volcanic vent. As you can see, there's an eruption here. This flow of the lava and gas of that eruption to bare land usually cause a lot of havoc as man tends to flee for their lives, because it also destroys the land. For instance, if this happens within an agricultural area, it becomes very difficult to farm within that area. So it causes food shortage. Again, it displaces people. This is usually a security threat. So the volcanic eruption is classified under the geologic security threat. Right, let's look at flood before we move on to wrapping up. Flood, okay, flood, which is a simple one. I think you know, and you must have experienced this if you live in Nigeria. This is a typical example of a flooded area. Okay, what is a flood? A flood is water overflow on dry land. That's an overflowing water moving into the normal dry land. Flood is usually very disastrous. It is usually very catastrophic. As you can see here now, the whole of this beautiful property here has been taken over by the overflow of water. So people have to move away for their lives. So properties are destroyed. Sometimes people are killed in this type of flood. Okay, so flood is a major geologic hazard or geologic security threat. How about us looking into how to detect these geologic threats? How can we detect them? Let's see the ways of which they can be detected. Just a minute. Alright, so geologic threat detection. They are usually detected by simple hazard mapping and monitoring. This is actually left for those in the field of geology to detect, and of course those in geographic information system to detect when this geologic security threats are prone to happen. Even though they can be detected, their location can be detected, it is most often difficult to tell the exact happening time of those geologic security threats. Okay, all right, this video is longer than necessary already. Let me give you the second class activity. Let me see if you can just on your own try to answer, all right, the question that will come before you right now. Okay, so I paused the video for 5 seconds to see how you can talk to yourself. Alright, I know that you are really thinking hard and looking at the possible answers to this question, enumerating the different types of geologic threats and the ways of predicting them. Well, they are all contained in the video. You can also rewatch, go back and forth to ensure that you have a full grasp of this topic. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you again in the next video. Cheers for now.